So, this guy was at one point considered the most hated man on the internet. Why? Well, the guy's name is Hunter, and Hunter had a very special talent, being a professional-grade menace who knew exactly how to piss off the entire internet. And it wasn't just his actions. Dude talked like a cartoon villain. At one point, he said, "As a white guy who's super good-looking, I never really wanted to mess around with black girls because it felt gross."
As a white male who's extremely good looking, I never really wanted to dabble in having sex with black girls because I thought it was gross.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy we're dealing with. Total walking red flag. Flashback to 2010. Hunter's 24, living in California, spending his time doing the least productive things possible. One day, he's chatting with his bros about a girl he's hooking up with and casually mentions he's got spicy pics of her. His boys are like, "Yo, drop the files." And instead of having an ounce of decency, Hunter uploads her spicy pics to a sketchy little website he owns. The boys go wild. They love it. In fact, they start uploading their own spicy pics too, obviously without permission. Soon, the site becomes a dumping ground for bitter exes and clout-chasing clowns. Hunter slaps a name on the site, isanyoneup.com. Because nothing says I peaked in high school like building your brand off people's worst moments. And here's the kicker. He didn't just post the pics. He also slapped on names, socials, job info, and locations. Basically, a custom starter pack for cyberstalking. Of course, the victims are horrified, but a bunch of creeps? They love it. The site starts blowing up, hitting like 30 million page views a month. And Hunter? He's laughing all the way to the bank, pulling in up to $30K monthly just from ads. People start calling him out. Victims beg for takedowns. Hunter either ignores them or hits them with a LOL no. Sometimes he'd mock them in emails, because being a troll was apparently part of his brand. And just when you think the guy can't get more cringe, boom, his email gets hacked. The hacker? Some 21-year-old named Charles, also in California. But instead of beefing with the dude, Hunter goes, "Want to team up?" Seriously. He offers Charles $200 a week to break into people's email accounts and steal their secret content. And Charles, he's like, "Say less." So now they're full-on digital burglars, looting inboxes and uploading stolen thirst traps. It's 2011, and laws around this stuff are basically non-existent. No one's stopping them. And Hunter? He's thriving, untouchable. Until he picks the wrong target. In 2012, Charles hacks into a girl named Kayla's inbox. Same playbook, steals her private content, sends it to Hunter, and it ends up on the site with all her personal info. Kayla finds out, freaks out, and goes straight to her mom, Charlotte. Now, Charlotte is not the one. She's built different. She reaches out to Hunter like, "Take the pics down." He ghosts her. So she hits up the police, but they're useless. Because again, there are no real laws for this stuff yet. Then Kayla's stepdad, who just so happens to be a lawyer, steps in. He hits Hunter with a copyright threat, because technically, Kayla owns the rights to her own pics. Suddenly, Hunter's sweating. He takes Kayla's pics down, but the site is still full of other victims. Charlotte, being the absolute powerhouse she is, isn't done. She tracks down 40 women who were also posted. Turns out nearly half were hacked just like Kayla. Charlotte gathers all this dirt and hands it over to the FBI. While that's happening, she also drops Hunter's home address on Twitter. You know, just returning the favor since he was out here doxing people for clout. Next thing you know, lawsuits start flying. Then Anonymous, yep, the hacker collective, pulls up. They post all his info online. His address, his phone number, his IP, even his old dating profile. They hit his bank accounts, send weird packages to his house, and somehow even get him declared legally dead. I don't know how they pulled that one off, but it's iconic. Eventually, the pressure gets to him. He caves. Some anti-bullying guy offers to buy the site for $15,000, way less than what it used to make in a month, and Hunter sells. The new owner flips the site into a hub for anti-harassment resources, which is the most poetic clapback ever. Now, Hunter starts doing the whole "I'm reformed, I've changed" tour. Goes on TV, tries to clean up his image, but then he hits people with, "You can't blame me. You took the pic, which basically translates to, I'm still trash, just wearing a new shirt.
I don't know how you can point your finger at me. You took the picture. But at the end of the day, it started with you and you took these pictures. I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure you're smart and go to school. I mean, it's 2012. What do you expect to happen?
But just because he sold the site doesn't mean he's off the hook. The FBI is still cooking up their case. 2 years later, in 2014, boom, he gets arrested. So does Charles. Charles cuts a deal and lands 2 years in the slammer. Hunter pleads guilty and gets 2.5. Not enough, but hey, at least there's a price for being the internet's biggest L. And that's the story of how Hunter went from thinking he was untouchable to becoming a cautionary tale with a criminal record.